Thank you so much for this. My name is Erik Stendal and I'm the UNEP project leader. We have an agenda for today with several speakers. So welcome to all of you. Those of you that have been up early morning to take part of the coastal cleanup. And also those of you that have joined this virtual event with people from both Norway and India and probably elsewhere joining. So we'll go through several interventions and speaks and talks by different people today. And first of all, I would like to welcome Dr. Victoria Larson, who will hold the welcome address. He's a Director General at Deputy Director General at Norwegian Institute for Water Research, NIVA, based in Oslo, Norway. Welcome, Torian. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Eirik. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's an honor to be able to speak here and welcome give welcome remarks to this webinar. I wish I had been with you who have been out on the beach cleanup this morning. Unfortunately, I am still stuck in Norway, but hope to be able to see many of you in India again soon. Today, those of you who have been at the beach cleanup, you have been doing a very important piece of work. It is great to see how much enthusiasm that has or is being built up to fight the problem of marine littering. And it's a key to solving the problem will be a heavy involvement of many people, of young people and people at local level. The marine litter and marine plastic pollution is a global challenge, but is a challenge that certainly have to be solved at local level with local solutions and with local involvement. A beach cleanup in itself is very important. At the same time, I think we all realize that cleaning up a beach one morning, that doesn't really solve the problem in itself. In a few days, there will be litter on the beach again, and a new cleanup will be necessary. And I think we all are aware of the solution to the problem. It's not the cleanups, but to stop the pollution at the sources. And there will be several presentations about the importance of the activities on land, the activities in the river basin, and so on later in this webinar. At the same time, I think the cleanup is extremely important because when you have participated in a cleanup, everyone that has participated in a beach cleanup, they learn so much by doing it. They learn a lot about the sources. They get curious about why did this particular piece of litter end up exactly here? Where did it come from? And how does that it shows the complexity of the processes of the world, how things are interrelated, how our world is connected and interrelated, but also how the activities we all do in our lives are connected. So a product someone bought a long time ago may have ended up on the beach that you cleaned up today, and that was certainly not the intention for the producer of that product or for the consumer of that product or of anyone, but it just happened anyway. So therefore, the cleanup activities is so important. Eirik mentioned the UNEP project. I think many of you present here today know the UNEP project very well. But still, this is just to say a few words. This is a collaboration project between India and Norway with several partners and lots of people involved. It has been going on now for about 4 years, and the first phase of that project is coming to an end quite soon. We are planning for a second phase of the project with an extension of the activities, an extension of the case studies involved. So there will be even more people and more enthusiasm in that project the coming years. I'm quite proud, or I'm very proud of this project. One of the reasons I am proud is that we have achieved a lot, even during the difficult years of the pandemic. The collaboration has been going on, and a lot of activities has been carried out on the ground. I want to thank the Norwegian Embassy for their support to the project, both in terms of funding for the project, but also continuous enthusiasm for the project and the project work and what we do. So that is very helpful for all of us. Then I want to thank all the project partners. Several of you, or I think all of you, are present here today. Terry, both a partner in the project and also organizing this webinar, so thank you very much. And then our good partners in Mugama, in Toxic Links, in CIPET, and the SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Also the UNEP India, co-sponsoring this event. And again, the Norwegian Embassy for the participation also at the event. Finally, a big thanks to all the participants at today's beach cleanup. Thank you for the important work you have been doing. And please keep on doing that and be enthusiastic about protecting the oceans from marine litter. So with that, I wish you all a good and interesting webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Torbjørn, for these welcoming words. And I see we have the number of participants is increasing, so we have several new participants coming in. So thank you also for reminding us about the setup of the UNEP team and the work we are doing, and also the co-sponsors of this event, UNEP India, which will be the next speaker of today. So with this, I will give the word to Dr. Sumit Sharma of UNEP India, an institution that is doing a lot of good and important work in India on various environmental issues. And Dr. Sumit, he will tell us a bit about land-based pollution impacting the marine environment. So with this, I'll give the word to you, Sumit. Thank you. Are you with us?
Hi, Eric. He's not on the panel. I can't see him.
Oh, I saw that he was there just a few seconds ago.
Right.
If it was there, maybe we can go to the next one, and then when Sumit comes back.
Yes, then we will do that. So with that, I will introduce the next speaker on the agenda, which is Dr. Paramita Chatterboti, who is a scientist with the SRM Institute of Science and Technology in Chennai, and which has been leading the beach clean that has been ongoing this morning. And we're very happy for the efforts that they have done. And, Dr. Paramita will start.
Hi. Thank you, Eric.
There was some noise.
Can you hear me?
There is some noise on your line. Can you try to? Okay, Paramita, there is some disturbances on your line.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Paramita. Go ahead.
Ma'am, you have muted yourself. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, can you hear me? And there is any noise from my end? The room is completely silent. I have unmuted. Hello? I have already unmuted. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. And so I will try to say a little bit about like how this event actually, how this youth, we try to gather them and really the enthusiasm they have, how means we need to instigate that. First of all, I must say, like, even though we conduct a lot of outreach programs, but it is because of UNEP, the UNEP project, and most importantly, the Norwegian Embassy, like who came up with this idea, and we got excited and wanted to do this in a bigger way within, I think, less than a couple of weeks' time. So this was like always we wanted to do something, but this instigation we needed. The enthusiasm that we saw in our students, like I was trying to encourage a lot of young guys, and looks like many students, like when they are in the first year of engineering, they are not aware of a lot of things happening in the environment, especially if they are computer science engineers. So to attract a lot of students from different disciplines, it was not a very difficult task. Many of them wanted to join, and I would say like this was one of the best outreach program where undergrads were so excited and they joined us in the program, in the event. So I feel like these are the ones you will see in the video clips, like how excited they are. They are means very much involved in the work, and most importantly, when I was telling them that after the event, what take-home message you are taking back. So it was in their mind like, yeah, we are like trying to see that when we go back, we take this important information with us, and next time we come back to the beach or try to keep our rivers or oceans clean. So that kind of interaction that we had in early in the morning, like grouping together, this was like, I think this kind of initiatives are very, very important for these youngsters apart from the course module. So this is a fantastic experience that we experienced with the students as well. And most of them, like if you can see them, like they got involved not the same day. I'll give you a few examples. The night before, we are here like till 10, 11 p.m. and students are preparing themselves, their posters. We asked them, like, you can prepare some posters to explain what is happening and to come up with some awareness campaign. So we can see here, like even the research scholar, they were also like preparing posters with their ideas, the kind of research they had taking up for the plastics in the ocean or different compounds they are dealing with. So it was pretty much like, the youth calling in for this call is a very, very big thing. And the way they participated, the way they came up and like they found it very, very interesting. This was like amazing from their end. And I believe it is this youth like who needs this, this kind of initiative even more, because they are the ones, they are the building blocks of our nation. They are the building blocks for the, I think, entire globe. Like they are going to run the entire world for next couple of decades. So they are the ones who should be like very much involved in such projects. And another thing is we have students in SRM IST, we have students from different countries. So we had students from Sudan, we had students from China and Uganda, who also joined hands in this program. And all were very, very, very excited, and they had an important message for this day. So I believe this is for youth to come up to build up such an event and to make it successful. It's all the credit goes to their enthusiasm. And we could, if we could do something, it's because they join hands together. We are just the facilitator, and they're the youngsters. They make things happen. And the brightness when we see, like as professor, I would say that the brightness we see in their faces, that actually is this thing that that makes us to do something more with them. So with this few words, like I would like to end it here. And we had a fantastic experience once again. I'm very much thankful to BHA for joining us and encouraging all of us and other people from Norwegian Embassy today this morning with us for the Seashore Clean More event to celebrate this International Day on Coastal on the Cleanup Day. So with this, I would like to thank you, and that was the experience I could share with you, with all these youngsters. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paramita, for this excellent presentation of the morning activities. It's really encouraging and really nice to see these pictures, and I'm really glad that you were a bunch of people doing these efforts. It's really encouraging. And I will move forward with this in the agenda of today. We have a lot of different aspects and angles on the marine pollution issue today. And the next speaker, since I see that UNEP is still not with us here, I will move to the next speaker of today, which is Mr. Siddharth Honda. He is representing Kabadiwala Connect, based also in Chennai. And he's going to talk about the informal sector's role in protecting the oceans. Kabadiwala Connect has been collaborating with Inopol project already for some time now, and is doing a lot of great work on the informal sector and how they manage the plastic pollution, or plastic waste, actually. Thank you. Siddharth, please, the floor is yours.
Sure. Thank you, Eirik. Thanks for the invite. I'm very happy to be here and really excited to speak to all you guys who participated in the beach cleanup today. I'm actually out on the field, as you can see as well. I'm participating in some activities actually around the Coastal Cleanup Day. So, but I'm really happy to be here and speak to you. I'm, my work, actually, Kabadiwala Connect has its origins in a beach cleanup, you could say. We started when I was studying zoology in Loyola College, because I always wanted to work in the forests, and I was always concerned about why Chennai's beaches were so dirty, and how it was not a problem of people coming there and like littering, but it really was a systemic problem where the ocean was really dropping these crazy amounts of material into the beach. So, for me, waste, I began engaging with waste really through these beach cleanups, as was mentioned in the opening discussion. It kind of really got me thinking, like, why is this material here? What is this made of? It gets you to think on a whole bunch of cross-cutting issues, from producing too much stuff that we have to throw, to what type of material this stuff is made of, what kind of system a city like Chennai needs to manage its waste effectively. And the fact that we are actually we have some very basic problems with waste management, which is, even if we did this beach cleanup today, the material that you put in the bin, and if the municipality takes it away, it's going to our landfills. One in Kodingur, one in Palikarnai. These are both marshlands. These are unsanitary landfills. So Kabadiwala Connect, really, my idea was, all these waste pickers, we used to see a lot of waste pickers come in and pick up specific kinds of material at these beach cleanups. And they would take it to these small scrap shops in the city. And so I got very interested in what was the impact of all these recyclers in the city. Like, how much were they actually helping the city manage their waste? How much how much volume were they collecting? I had all these big questions. And so mapping informal stakeholders became kind of like something that I was very interested in doing. And that was really the foundation of Kabadiwala Connect. So Kabadiwala Connect, we're a for-profit social enterprise, so we're impact driven. Our goal from an impact perspective is to integrate waste pickers, these small scrap shops, these larger scrap shops into the formal system, and really support the recycling work that they're doing already. And yeah, beach cleanups are really the starting point. And I would really encourage everybody here, as one of the big take-home messages, to be find out where your local scrap shop is and push for people to segregate more at homes and make sure they sell their recyclables to their local scrap shop. If there's any message I would leave on top of doing beach cleanups, it would be to segregate waste at your home. Make sure that recyclable waste is being sold to your local scrap shop. And yeah, thank you so much. I'm always happy to stay in touch. So if there's anybody who's interested in learning more about the work we do, please feel free to reach out to me, and I wish you all the best. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot for these words, Siddharth. And I think you underline one of the important points with beach cleaning and working with the waste in the environment when it enters into the environment. And I have to admit that that was actually my also route into working with the environment as an adult. It was through picking wastes along the roads and along the shores when 35 years ago. So it's, for many of us, it's an eye-opener to see and to work on the waste to get it out of the environment. So it's an important point raised by you and many others. So thank you so much. With this, I'll move to the next speech, which will be by myself. We have been talking about a bit about the visible pollution, the plastic pollution, which is at least a lot of it is visible. You have also some parts of the plastic pollution that are not so visible, the microplastics. And there are some chemicals, there are some pollution that is even less visible, and that's the chemical pollution. I will start with giving you some data from the latest Global Chemical Outlook report that was produced by UNEP in 2019. This report estimated that globally between 40 and 60,000 chemicals are used in commerce, but of which 6,000 chemicals make up 99% of the volume. So even if there are quite many chemicals in use, it's a lower number that is actually are like taking the majority of the volumes. And what is interesting and also important to know is that the consumption and production of chemicals have doubled since 2000, between 2000 and 2017. And it is expected to further double between 2017 and 2030. So we're using a lot of chemicals and we are going to probably use more and more of them as the time comes. But are all of these dangerous to us, and are they all hazardous? Well, no. Many of them are making our lives very convenient, and they're making it safe, and we're using it in all kinds of products. But there are also quite some chemicals that are not good for us, that are hazardous to both humans and to the environment. A study, I think it was from 2016, in Europe, estimated that 62% of the chemicals consumed in the EU is potentially hazardous to human health. And this Global Chemicals Outlook also estimated that 1.6 million deaths it's linked to chemical pollution. But these are probably underestimates, as the report says, so the implications is quite significant. And I will talk a little bit about some chemicals that are particularly particular concern to us, and that's a group called persistent organic pollutants. It's chemicals that are regulated by a global convention called the Stockholm Convention on POPs. We abbreviate them as POPs. And these are regulated globally because they are toxic to humans. They are persistent, so they are very hard to break down, so they remain in the environment for a long time. They bioaccumulate. They build up both in the bodies and of organisms, but also in the food chain. And lastly, they are prone to long-range transport. They don't stop at the border, they cross borders. And these enter into the environment in many compartments of the environment, to air, to water, lakes, rivers, and to the ocean. And the sources are many and diverse. It could be from industry, both intentional and unintentional, like when you burn coal, you also really release hazardous chemicals. But it could also be from consumption. A lot of chemicals are added to the products we use in our daily lives. And these are transported long range. So that makes them very easily transported to different parts of the both the environment, but also geographically. And plastic, as is a focus of today, can be a vector. We know that it can transport chemicals, it can absorb and desorb these chemicals. So connect and disconnect them. But the science is still out on like the true implication of plastics as a vector and how it affects organisms in the environment. We as humans are exposed to these chemicals through also several different routes. One common one, and when we talk about the ocean, is consumption of fish. As I mentioned, these chemicals build up in the food chain, and especially fish that have been living for a long time. And I would also add that there is an equality issue. So there are some people and segments of societies that are more exposed to hazardous chemicals. The poor people, for instance, people working in informal sector, often without protective gear or precautionary measures. And this is important to take into account when we try to deal and manage and control these hazardous chemicals. And then we have also a lot of old sources. And I wanted to draw an example from Norway, where we have a general advice from the government not to eat freshwater fish that is above 1 kilo. And women in childbearing age and children are advised not to eat freshwater fish at all. And that is because of old pollution. It's chemicals that we released decades ago or that has been transported long range from abroad. But it's also chemicals that we regulated 30 to 40 years ago. So that tells us something, both that these chemicals remain for a long time in the environment, and they also remobilize, they move very easily in the environment. I think this is very sad, and it has a tremendous economic and social cost with these chemicals that are so hard to get rid of once they're into the environment. The UNEP project has been working
take a look.
Yeah, for many years in India, and we are working both on monitoring these chemicals in the environment.
Yeah, that leg.
Advise the government, but also to do research on how it is entering into the environment and what effects these chemicals has. And India, they have ratified the Stockholm Convention, as I mentioned, and there is a lot of good ongoing work. There is an upcoming regulation now called the Chemical Management and Safety Rules that will oblige all industry to report the chemicals they import and produce, which is very good because then government get a better overview of what hazardous chemicals that are actually in use. And they can also make use of inventorization and monitoring to get a good picture of the pollution status. So transparency from the industry is an important issue. So with those few examples, I will end my talk, and with saying that there are major developments ongoing, so we have no time to lose. So I will encourage all students and also people working in government, private sector, advocacy groups, in academia, wherever you are, or also as normal consumers, be aware and keep both the hazardous chemicals and plastics out of the environment and out of the oceans. And let's continue collaborating to do so. So with this, I thank you for the attention, and I will give the floor further on to the next speaker. We have some voices of the youth in reducing marine pollution. So I think I will, with this, give the word to Dr. Paramita Chatterboti that is working with the SRM. Perhaps you can introduce.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, we have few students, young engineers, who are going to give their views out of today's experience. So we start with Rishabh. Rishabh, can you? Rishabh?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible. You can switch on your video. Yeah. Yes, Rishabh, you're audible. You can switch on the video.
Yes, ma'am. It is starting. Is it visible now? Is it visible now, ma'am?
Yes, you are very much visible and you're audible too. So yes, Rishabh.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, respected panelists and my fellow attendees. I'm Rishabh Part from SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Kadangurathal campus. I'm currently pursuing my chemical engineering as a third-year student. First of all, I would like to thank our respected teacher, Dr. Paramita ma'am, for giving us such a wonderful opportunity to contribute to our society and represent my fellows in this International Coastal Cleanup Day. I believe as a citizen of our country, we should try and contribute to society whenever we get an opportunity. Does not matter how little may the contribution may be, or does not matter how small the step is. We should give as much as possible. Today, we took one such step by cleaning the beach. We enjoy going to so much. As much as we enjoy going to the beach, it is our responsibility to check it remains as clean as it was. Unfortunately, we still lack awareness about cleanliness in public places in general. But drives like these give us hope and opportunity to spread awareness as well as help attain clean model India that we all wish for. We as a group of 80 students and faculties try to collect as much single-use and recyclable waste we could from the beach. We started early in the morning and till later. We were also given gloves and bags, and we were asked to make posters, and we worked really hard on the posters. At last, I would like to thank all the honorable authorities who made this event possible at all. I hope and wish we'll get more such opportunities in future. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Rishabh. It was really encouraging to hear, and I think you made a very important point. In it doesn't matter how small or big the step is. The important is that we do these steps, and all steps are important. So thank you so much. And I received a list here, so I think I will, if I am correct, I will pass the word to Tanisha. Are you with us? Perhaps you would have to
Hello,
unmute.
am I visible? Am I audible?
You are audible, Tanisha, and now also visible. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Good evening to one and all present here. I'm Tanisha Pandey, a third-year chemical engineering student from SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Kadangurathal. First of all, I feel extremely honored as I've got a chance to speak and share my experience regarding the Beach Cleanup Day, which was conducted in view of International Coastal Cleanup Day in front of such high dignitaries. Beaches are meant to be beautiful, aren't they? And it makes me sad and breaks my heart after seeing the state of the beaches these days due to our lack of basic awareness and negligence. And we all know what deteriorating effect it has on our environment and how it affects the marine life and how us humans have created a vicious cycle for ourselves. So today we got an opportunity to contribute towards the environment and the society. We were a group of 80, both students and faculties included, and we had to collect the waste material, how much ever we could, and segregated them into recyclable plastics, single-time use plastic, glasses, and other miscellaneous stuffs. We were provided with all the necessary items for the same. And trust me, people would think that waking up early in the morning is a pain, but we all had so much fun. And at the end of the day, we had such a great feeling of satisfaction that we could at least contribute a bit for the improvement of the situation. And lastly, I would like to urge everyone out there to take out some time and work for the betterment of our environment. It must not be that massive, but the effort that we put in and the thought to work towards the improvement of the situation is a great accomplishment itself. I wish and hope we get more of such opportunities in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tanisha. It's really good to hear from your experience this morning. And I think you also raised an important point, mentioning that the different types of plastic we pick gives us actually some answers. So it tells us something about which types of litter that is actually out there and which we need to mitigate. So some good answers and research can also be done by looking into the plastic types. Okay, with this, I'll pass the word to another student, which is Rohit. Sorry if I pronounced the names not correctly. Rohit, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Am I visible?
The floor is yours. Welcome.
Yeah. Yes, sir, good evening, guys. I'm Rohit Ram S from Chemical Engineering, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. And yeah, I'm from Chemical Engineering Department from SRM Institute of Engineering. And here I am glad to share my experience about today's event, Act for Ocean, organized by the Norway Embassy. And this Act for Ocean was brought up to us by our ma'am, and we were more interested to join in this event and take part. And it's usually a Saturday morning, it's an extra hour to a sleep, but we were feeling like we should get up and go and join these events. Like, and I'm not the only one person who were volunteering this event. We got a group of friends who were volunteering around like 80 to 90 people, and we had a we were reaching the locations on time, and we have been hosting this beach cleanup. Like, it's not just picking up the trash of the coastlines, but it's actually a fun time to have. And all the volunteers who were when there, we met each other, and we were new to each, and actually we had a nice experience. And we not only found the trashes, but we even found we just not pick up the trashes, but we reveal something beautiful inside the trashes. That's not always a trash that we look into. The trash will be covering some of the most beautiful things that is under them. So actually we found a lot of things like treasures that we can't see. But still, oh, hello, hello.
Yes, Rohit, you're audible. You're audible.
Um, um, so yeah, actually we found it's an amazing event that was brought up by you, ma'am. Thank you for these amazing opportunities.
Thank you so much, Rohit. I'm really glad to hear, and I really support what you're saying. Like the plastic is not the beautiful part of the nature; it's what's below it. And I'm really happy to hear that you also had a social and good time, because it's, of course, much easier to work with these big environmental issues if we feel that we are not alone and we're together with other people that also see the need for a change. So thank you. And with that, the last and fourth student speaker, Snehita, are you with us?
So could you able to hear me?
Yeah, very well. So please, the floor is yours. Welcome. Snehita, now I can't hear you again, so maybe you will have to unmute or.
Could you able to hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Don't be drastic, say no to plastic. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Isis Nigida. I'm pursuing first year MSc Physics in Asaram University. Actually, we know that, do you know that 20 billion known galaxies are fine till now? There are many galaxies which are still unknown today. And there are lakhs and lakhs of planets in a single galaxy. But there are only one planet where the life exists is only one planet, that is our mother planet, Earth. Yes, of course, it's our duty to save our planet, to prevent our planet. When we were young, our father were worrying about the pollution. Now you're worrying about the pollution. Do our next generation is also going to be worrying about the pollution? Then I'm damn sure the plastic would be the main ingredient of their food, of our all grandchildren's food. Like maybe it could appear like plastic burger or plastic pizza, like that too. I think so. Like so, what can we do for that? Of course, we know about the 3R: reduce, recycle, and reuse. Yeah, it's like reducing the using of plastic, making of plastic, and replacing it with some other natural material is really appreciable. And recycling and reusing the PET and PVC kind of a plastics are really good. And one GK, do you know that the expiry date in the water bottles are not for the water but for the plastics? So actually, our father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi said, don't ask what your country did for you, but ask what you did for your country. And I think I'm asking myself every day in front of mirror, what you're going to do for your country, for what you're going to do for the society. Actually, I think I'm doing best. I'm doing my research on pollution control and climatic changes for past 8.5 years, and I got Young Scientist Award for 7 times and one from Honorable Kalam sir. And I'm the Life Charity 2020 India's winner among 4 lakh people, and I have been selected over top 50 innovators of India by NASA. And I'm doing my research on modern chimney, like recycling the wastewater and waste in a simple way, and bioplastics. And now I'm trying to I'm trying to get my patent. So I mean, I believe that there is a saying like tiny drops makes mighty ocean. So I believe that the small steps which are taking today is definitely going to change the whole world, definitely going to make a greater impact in future, and I believe that. Thank you.
Girija, we are seeming to miss Eric for a while.
Yes.
But
yes.
now since Sumit is there, can we invite Sumit to present?
Yeah. I was just about to thank you, Sunil, for that.
Sure.
Yes. Eric is having some issues with the connectivity. Thank you so much, and wonderful to hear all the students and the speakers. Now we have our guest from UNEP, Dr. Sumit Sharma. Sumit, over to you for hearing your reflections. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Girija. Thank you so much for inviting me in such an exciting event. I was listening to the youthful voices, and me myself feel so motivated after listening to all these kids who are trying to do their bits in securing our earth from this pollution generated by plastics. Sorry, I could join late today because I was also part of a beach cleanup at Versova beach in Mumbai with our partners, Afroz Shah Foundation. And what I could see is we were trying to dig out the beach and taking out the plastics and other material out of it, but it was unending. There was just tremendous amounts of volumes of plastics and other materials which were littered around the beach, and whatever we could do. Believe me, there were thousands of people who were trying to do their bit. But despite all this, the amount of volumes of waste which was lying on the beach was enormous, and we could not yet clean up the beach to the totality. So the fact of the matter is that there is enough plastics in the systems to degrade the quality of environment, degrade the quality of health. What we heard is that almost 9 billion tons of plastics have been produced since 1950, and the production has quadrupled. It has become 4 times in the last 4 decades. Almost on a yearly basis, 9 to 14 million tons of plastics is ending up in oceans. And what we know is that the marine litter which is causing this global problem to become so large, is formed mainly by the plastics. 80% of marine litter is actually plastics. And we know plastics are not so well recycled across the whole world. In fact, 80% of them go to the landfills. They are dumped in other natural environments. And the recycling rates are abysmally low. And what we hear is that at the global stage, only 10% of plastics are getting recycled. Coming to Indian situation, we are not consuming as much as the world average. Our world average is about 28 kgs per capita, but in India, we are almost half of this number. But the worrisome part is that we have a big population base, and when we multiply it with the population, the overall volumes become enormous. And also the way we are growing, it can become a real problem. Already see our rivers and beaches and all these things filled up with plastics, and that is what we were trying to control today. Coming to just to sensitize people on the impacts of marine litter, why we are all worried. We all think that it is only impacting the marine animals and the marine ecosystems, but we must also understand that because we are also somehow linked to the marine ecosystems, it is definitely going to impact human society. There is now research which is telling us that almost 5 grams of microplastics are being ingested by people on a weekly basis. And we know 5 grams is sort of equivalent to a credit card. So that is the amount of microplastics we are ingesting on a weekly basis. And that's definitely an alarm which is ringing in our ears. Not just this direct impact, we also have impact at the planetary level because plastics are supposed to be manufactured. It is also linked to a lot of greenhouse gases emissions. And estimates are telling us that if we don't curtail it, by 2040, almost 1/5 of the total global carbon budget will be attributable to plastics. Now, all these are big impacts, but the impacts which you see next to your street is the clogging of drains. And we know living in cities, this has become a very common phenomenon in our cities where drains gets clogged. And one of the major contributor for this kind of an impact are plastics and all these polythene bags, which get stuck into the drains and leads to urban flooding during monsoons. Now, I'll just touch upon a few more points on what are the efforts being made to control this situation. United Nations Environment Program, through its highest body of states, the United Nations Environmental Assembly has brought in a number of resolutions for control of marine plastics at the planet. India has come forward with a number of resolutions. The resolution 4/9 clearly talks about addressing single-use plastics pollution, which came in 2019. And most importantly, in this March, early this year, different member states, they came together, joined hands in taking forward this agenda forward to manage plastic waste and getting into discussions to come up with a global treaty on controlling plastics marine litter. At UNEP, we are working in India at different levels. We are working with the India-Norway Marine Pollution Initiative. I know Beate is already waiting to speak. She's a counselor from Norwegian Embassy. But this is a huge program which we are running with the government of India and trying to build capacities on addressing these issues, carrying out some hardcore research on what are the alternatives to plastics items, what are the recycling capacities, how they can be enhanced, and then how the packaging stuff can be made more sustainable so that it just does not get littered down downstreams. We are also working with states, and we came up with Terry, actually, we came up with this plan with the state of Bihar for control of single-use plastics. We are also working with cities where we are trying to strengthen the enforcement of ban on single-use plastics and develop mechanisms for better implementation. Now, I am putting a lot of hope on this word EPR, which means extended producer's responsibility. In a way, we are trying to put up the responsibility on the manufacturers of packaging material to collect, to recycle, to reuse, and use the recycled content in their packaging stuff so that it does not get into the downstream and everything gets either reused or recycled in the longer run. I think government has taken a very strong step with coming up with this kind of a strong notification on extended producer responsibility. Now all eyes are on good, strong implementation of EPR, and that is where UNEP is trying to support the government with. I was in Mumbai. I'm still in Mumbai. I was in this workshop with industries where a lot of industries are coming up with their mandates to collect and recycle stuff which they are generating or using for plastic packaging. So I'm quite hopeful that in the times to come, we will definitely be able to control this issue to some extent. But as I heard from all the youth sitting here, we all need to chip in, and we all need to make sure that we consume less. We do not use the stuff which is actually not required to be used. And if we are using, we must choose the right scientifically chosen or identified alternatives to plastics, not any other plastics. So with this, I'll just close my address and congratulate Niva, Terry, Mugama, everyone who is present there for making this effort to make have this event with the youth, and we have a way to go forward. Thank you, Girija.
Thank you, Sumit. That was wonderful. Your insights are always so reflective, and really everybody would have benefited. Thanks for being there with us. With this, I would request a video footage to be shared by Paramita, today's cleanup drive. So Paramita, over to you. Paramita, are you able to hear me? Meanwhile, Eric's laptop is still giving some issues. So
yes, we are sharing. Yes, we are sharing.
There is not a disturbance.
Yeah, there is not a disturbance.
Hi, I'm Tanisha. I'm from SRM KTR, and yeah, we're here for beach cleanup.
Yeah, teaching.
Hello. Let's hear what our youngsters, two students from school, Maya D'Souza, what she has to say to us.
It needs our sincere attention. This is causing serious pollution. It needs our sincere attention.
Done with the campaign today. So how you guys are feeling? How you guys are feeling? So what's your name? Reshma. Yeah, what do you feel, Reshma?
It's a nice, good experience.
Have you experienced this before?
No, first time.
Yes, here we have some PhD scholars. And can you tell us how was your experience and some international students? Here, come together, maybe? Yeah, so how did you feel today?
We felt very good, ma'am.
Was it your first time experience?
Yes, this is the first experience for me in the cleanup campaign. This is a very good thing. I feel very good, ma'am.
So what's your name?
My name is Pavitra. I'm
And-
PhD scholar in SRM University.
Fantastic. And yes, Nishan?
Yes, my name is Rong Xiang. I'm from BA English. I'm in third year. So it's good. I mean, it's a good experience to come here today, and I think it is our duty to keep our environment clean.
Thank you, Nishan. Thank you. So can you tell us like how you feeling today?
I'm feeling really nice today. We came to the beach, cleaned it, whatever we did, however, whatever steps we took, something is contributing to the society, and that is all we want. After all, we live in the society and we need to develop it. So,
Fantastic. Thank you.
Great.
Yes, Girija, we are done.
Thanks, Paramita, for sharing that. Great experience from the beach, and students are so motivated. Thanks for that. Yeah. For the next speaker is Dr. Sunil Pandey from TERI. He'll be speaking on protecting the marine environment from plastic pollution. Dr. Pandey, it will be our...
Thank you, Girija. And I'm very sorry, actually, I'm not starting my video. It's shaking like as if I'm sitting in an ocean liner. So what I'll do is, Eric also mentioned in his opening remarks about the project which we are doing currently, also to address some of these issues which we have been discussing today. And we are all, the team from Miogama, team from SRM, and team from CIPET. Toxic links are all part of, and TERI, all are part of this research we have been doing with NIVA team from Norway. And under the plastic streams, what currently we have been doing is we are looking at river catchments in the Gujarat, along the Gujarat coast, where there are intense industrial activities, including plastic waste recycling. And then what we're doing exactly there is monitoring the level of plastics, whether they are mesoplastics or microplastics, along the catchment and into along the draining into Arabian Sea, And plastics which we are monitoring that in ambient air, water systems, and also sediments which are associated with the water system, to look at how plastics basically distribute themselves within these atmosphere. What has been also, apart from this research which we have been carrying out, other activities which also has caught attention of some of the technology implementers is one issue of floating plastics, which have become a problem. As you know, in India, there are a lot of river systems which are also fed by drains which are there in the cities, and many times floating plastics in these drains have become a problem. It has been noted in Mumbai, where there's a famous river which is called Miti. It has also been noticed in Delhi, which has a famous river called Yamuna. And there are now efforts on by not only technology implementers in India, but also technology demonstrations from international efforts, basically to catch these floating surface plastics by designing and implementing floating catchers. And what is being done, this is currently being done as a pilot demonstration, but the efforts are very much going into demonstrating it at a large level, at large scale, as a commercial pilot, where the plastics which will be trapped, they are aggregated, they are washed, dried, and they become feedstock either to a process which is called pyrolysis, where at high temperature, what is done is these plastics are converted into oil, which is a value-added material, and something which is black carbon, which we call char, which also can have various applications. Internationally, if you see, there are a lot of product manufacturing companies which have shown their intent to basically use plastic which is recovered from littered marine sources. And for example, there has been report that Adidas, the shoe company, which is also active in India, for their Europe operations, they're using plastic retrieved from marine waters for manufacturing their shoes. Part of their shoe material is derived from that plastic. So that shows that even the industry is becoming very serious on the issue of plastics, which is let out on land and finally and ends up into marine waters. In India now, there's also have been focus on looking at issue of fishing nets, which have become a problem if discarded on land, or if discarded in coastal waters also, and also fishing gears or plastic fishing boats, largely made of glass fiber plastics, which are difficult to recycle. So if you look at, if you look at just numbers globally, if you see, there are reports which suggest that around 10% of these fishing nets, fishing gears, and fishing boats, they comprise 10% of the all marine plastics which are contributed to marine water globally. So there needs to be intense awareness along with what I'll suggest is along with these beach cleanup exercises. We also need to plan intense awareness activity to fisher folk in the coastal areas on how to do basically responsible fishing without actually putting up more waste into water systems or along the coast, which ultimately would become a problem to tackle. There has been some efforts on in India also, worldwide also, to retrieve these nets and fishing gears by trawlers and put them back into recycling value chain, as I said, by the process pyrolysis, or by including them as a raw material for waste to energy projects, which can recover energy. And in that, there's an interesting, utilization pathway where a lot of cement plants are using such material now as an alternate fuel for the cement production. So, if these can be retrieved, these can be collected there's a treatment process, there's a processing and recycling process which is available. Another interesting aspect which I like to focus on, which Sumit also touched partially, is now that as an upstream value chain, plastic value chain efforts, manufacturing and sale of single-use plastics has been phased out from 1st July 2022. So it is many of the alternatives to these single-use plastics are coming into market, and it will be interesting to see what kind of alternatives emerge in near future, which would certainly reduce the burden on the plastic burden in terms of single-use plastics, which currently we are facing with. On the downstream discussions, also looking at, if you look at extended producer responsibility, EPR regime, it is also it has enabled a lot of FMCG companies, fast-moving consumer good companies, or I mean, in short, mainly beverage manufacturing companies or companies which are manufacturing different plastic packaging. Now they are working with different cities in India and kind of to work out strategies for collecting the waste which they put in as a product packaging in the market, and they have their targets under EPR. And once they achieve their target, there are many companies who have shown interest that they would like to, as a social responsibility, they would like to collect once they achieve their target more than the target which they have been given. And interestingly, the regulation also provides a way for that. If you collect more than your targets, you can always achieve plastic credits in terms of over and above your target collection. And these credits would later on, like carbon credits, would become a trading option for companies who would like to, for some reason, cannot meet those targets and need more time to meet those targets, can access these targets. And this plastic credit system, once it becomes operational, it is supposed to catalyze the plastic waste collection and recycling efforts further in the country. In the end, as a policy level, at the policy level, what I would also like to suggest and close my remarks with is that along the in India we have very wide, very intense plastic, not plastic, but river action plan and lake action plans dealing with conventional pollutants, looking at chemical discharge, looking at bacterial loading in the water systems, or I mean, looking at industrial discharges. These river action plans at the national or the state level should also now include plastic waste management as a identifying them as a key pollutant and giving them similar attention in the river action plan and lake action plan, so that these activities can be taken up as on a mission mode at accelerated level. So I'll end my remarks here, and thank you the embassy and also our other project partners to come on this platform with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sunil.
Thank you
I'm
so
glad
much.
that Eric is back. Over to you, Eric.
Thank you, Girija, and thank you for taking over for me when I got some technical issues and were thrown out. Thanks a lot to Sunil for bringing in these perspectives, and I think your talk also linked to what was previously said by Siddharth in Kabadiwala Connect, that there are some good ways of dealing with at least certain types of plastics if we manage to sort it properly and get it into those good streams that facilitates recycling, and then we can use it as a resource. And then there are other types of plastic that we still have challenges with because they have very little chances of recycling and being used again. So thanks a lot. And with this, I also would like to express my thanks to Snehita. I was thrown out during her talk. I really appreciated her slogan and her perspective too as a fourth student. So letting that be known. And with that, would like to introduce our next speaker, which is Ms. Beate Langset, who is a counselor for climate and environment at the Royal Norwegian Embassy in New Delhi. And Ms. Beate, she was taking part of the activities at the beach this morning. So I would very much like to hear you talk and welcome you on board, Beate.
Thank you, Eric. I hope everyone hears me. Yes?
Sure.
Yes, dear colleagues, I feel like I'm on kind of a family party right now because so many familiar faces here. So very nice to see you all. And also dear students, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to speak on this important webinar organized by the UNEP project. And I wish to congratulate everyone on you present here on the International Coastal Cleanup Day. And my special congratulations to all those who participated in the cleanup today, together with Suresh, my husband, and me, and all other students. It was a really great event. And you have all done a really good and important part in cleaning up the beach. And the enthusiasm of the students was fantastic. So thank you for that. I promised to because so many students were volunteering and doing a very good job. So we also have made some prizes. I got some names from Paramita, so excuse me for pronouncing all the names. It's a bit difficult for a Norwegian to do that, but I will do my best. The first prize goes for the posters. And the first prize is going to Pavi, K. And the second prize is going for the group poster made by Devanjali, Rizab, Tanisha, Hreya, and Obeid. And the third prize is going also a group poster going to Rohitram, Turumela, Venkata, Sughananandan, Alan, Agustin, and Vahit. And the third prize is also a group poster. It's Aditi Baipai, Anyaya Kapoor, Kavya Nair, and Ankita Kumari. So we also have some prizes for the best performance that I also mentioned. The first prize is going to group 3. It was led by Giri Dharan K, and also Rohit Ram S, Shayan Basu, Siddharth M, R, Reshma, Sashimpi, Ankita Kumari, Kanshika Ji, Aditi Baipai, Teresa, and Kushal Dadhania. And the second prize is going to group 4. That was led by Sadvika Reddy. And in the group, there was also Satish Kumar, Vishnu Ganesh, Anshril Gupta, Sanjay Ram M, Chetna Patil, Shivanyali, Tramila Bhattarchaji, Au Mitun, Varshika S, and Idi Periyar Kamarai. So now we can take a new breath. So congratulations to all of you for your very good job. And also I shared some pictures, and also Ambassador who joined the beach cleanup in Mumbai together with Afroz Shah, and also Sumit Sharma, as I understand now. So there's some pictures on the embassy's Twitter account. So if you want to see some pictures, please go into that as well. And I don't think it has been mentioned, but I also want to congratulate the Ministry of Earth Sciences and the Government of India for the Swachh Sagar Swachh Surashkit campaign, because this was a kind of 75 days campaign covering 75 beaches and volunteering approach to improve ocean health. And the target was to remove 15,000 tons of marine litter. And I really hope that they have reached this goal today. But let's see. I guess we got some numbers from the war room they have set up. So let's see. And also mentioned today by several people here, the single-use plastic ban that was went into force in July this year. And Tamil Nadu, if I have understood this correctly, they started this single-use plastic ban already in 2019. And it's my impression that these streets here in Chennai is really, really clean and green. So maybe have a really impact that the single-use plastic ban is entered into force several years ago. So this is one way to help and preventing the marine litter. And also the EPR scheme is also mentioned here today. That is also one part or a really important instrument to combat marine litter. And you may know this, but Norway was one of the first countries to introduce EPR. And we have done it for several years now. And also the European Union, they have come after us, and they are even more, forward-leaning than Norway in this matter. So everyone has to, and also a lot of African countries have also started the EPR right now. So that's great. And this year, 2022, has been a truly remarkable year to deal with the plastic resolution. And progress has made to ban certain plastics here in India and also in other countries. And we also have this historical global resolution to ban plastic. And yes, today, the International Coastal Cleanup Day that has been celebrated today, as never before. And have seen pictures from all over the world contribute in this day. So that's great. I myself have done a lot of beach cleanup in Norway. Strandrydding, it's called in Norwegian. And also, as Eric mentioned, I have also picked up garbage by the roads in Norway. So it makes you think about, and I don't think that anyone picked up garbage or waste from beaches or roads. They will never throw it away, throw the plastic away when they are out. So it's a good lesson learned, I think, for people. So let's hope that all the students have learned a lot today. And it sounded like they really have this good understanding of this. And the Norwegian Embassy here in New Delhi, we wanted to mark this important day, and we made it both in Mumbai and here in Chennai. So that's very nice that we had the great opportunity to join. So a special thanks to Paramita that organized everything. I think it was about 80 students and a lot of things that had to be organized. So very, very much thanks to you, and also for UNEP to take this initiative from us and make it a real story. So yes, I think you could say a few words about how we do it in Norway as well, because it can be interesting for you. We also have our challenges. We have a long coastline, and even if the Norwegians are normally quite good in sorting the waste at source, that I think is really important. And that was mentioned in many settings I have been the last year in India, that the waste has to be sorted at the source if possible. That makes the recycling so much better and easier, instead of taking it up on the beach and just recycle it and sort it after that. And it will be nice to mention that yesterday I met this Sapriya Sahu. She is the additional chief secretary in Tamil Nadu Green Climate Company, and she gave me this yellow nice bag made from women, and it should be used instead of using plastic bags. So that is a very good thing, I think. And this is a typical Tamil Nadu do things. I learned from Suresh. So circular economy, and it's encouraged and practiced as much as possible here, both in Norway and in India, I think. And we have a lot to learn from each other as well. And thanks to the UNEP project, I think we can go a bit further, and with very good people helping us on the way. So thank you for all of us helping organizing and bringing the world forward. So I think that will all from me.
Thanks a lot, Beata. This is really a nice talk, and thank you for sharing. First of all, giving these wonderful prizes to the hardworking students this morning. It's really a pleasure to hear and see. And I would like also to thank the embassy in particular for supporting these initiatives, not only in Chennai, but in many places and around the world, really. Not the embassy, but Norway. The Norwegian government is really putting a lot of efforts to deal with plastic pollution globally. And but we really appreciate having you in Chennai, and glad you could join the UNEP team. And for the wonderful initiative that came from actually you. So it's really good and really nice that we could follow up on that. Okay, we're closing in. So I think with just a few minutes left, I will pass the word to my colleague, Dr. Hans Nikolai Adam, who will wrap up this event today. And Hans, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Eirik. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, and I feel that Beate and Eirik, you have already in some ways provided a vote of thanks, or some of the points that I wanted to mention as well. And it's been a great pleasure to be part of this event today as well, and to be invited to participate here. And so thank you so much to all the panelists for all the interesting reflections, and also to the hosts and organizers from TERI, as well as from SRM Institute, who have done a lot of the local organizations, as well as, of course, Girija from MGC, who is always very involved in all of the programs in UNEP, and Sunil, Dr. Paramita, and our other partners from CPAT and Toxics Link as well. So it's been a great pleasure to have you all here, and also to have Kabadiwala Connect provide a very local perspective in terms of the work that they have been doing, and the motivation of how they started, in fact, a social enterprise based on this concern around waste management and beach cleanups. But most of all, of course, this day is about the volunteers and all of the participants who have been part of the local beach cleanup, including Beate and the Norwegian Embassy. So I think that's a great signaling effect in terms of having people actually out there seeing what the problem of waste management is on the beach, and then doing something about it at the local level. But at the same time, of course, our ultimate hope is that we will not need these beach cleanups in 20, 30 years' time, because this is not something that we, of course, want to have as a regular course of action. And then I would also like to thank the Norwegian Embassy and, in fact, the Norwegian government for the Marine Litter program, given that this program has put so much of attention and supported so many organizations, including the UNEP project, to work on these issues, also on a research, also in terms of furthering research on finding sustainable solutions. Yes, and basically what I also wanted to mention, and Beate mentioned this a little bit earlier on, is that, in fact, from NIVA in Norway, we also had a beach cleanup actually last week in one of our offices. And even though when international visitors come to Norway and see a much more clean environment, and there's much better waste management systems, the problem of plastic accumulation on the shorelines and beaches is extremely acute. And one of the comments from one of my colleagues who was part of this beach cleanup in Western Norway was that, oh my God, we have to start fresh with this beach, because it was meters and meters of deep plastic waste that accumulated. So even though in India it looks like more acute issues, it's a global problem. It doesn't matter which region of the world we go to. So we need global solutions apart from these local initiatives. And I want to end here basically with expressing again this hope that we don't need these beach cleanups in future, and that we work all together at various different levels, from local volunteers, from students, from researchers, from activists, and from governments, together to solve this problem of plastic pollution. And I hope that as the years go by, that there's less and less of a need to do these beach cleanups, in fact, despite the importance that they hold today. So again, thank you very much to all the participants, panelists, and speakers, and thank you, Eirik, for moderating this event, and Girija for stepping in between when there was a computer problem. So, and I wish you all a very nice weekend and a Saturday, and yes, hope to see many of you in future events as well.
you so much, Hans, for this vote of thanks, and thank you all from me too. I wish you a wonderful day. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.